Recently, footage emerged of what is possibly the first sighting of a Ukrainian Air Force F-16 fighting Falcon on a strike mission, making a low-level pass. These are the first images of a Ukrainian Falcon sporting a full loadout of US-supplied GBU-39 SDB glide bombs. The video, which has been circulating on social media platforms, offers a glimpse into the evolving capabilities of Ukraine's aerial forces amid ongoing tensions with Russia. According to Kiev Post media outlet, the warplane carries a heavy load including two 370-gallon external fuel tanks, an N/ALQ-131 electronic countermeasures pod, and two BRU-61 pylons, each probably carrying a pair of GBU-39 small-diameter bomb GPS-guided bombs. Two AIM-120B/C AMRAAM were visible on the wingtips. Some observers said the aircraft also seemed to be carrying a pair of AIM-9 short-range infrared air-to-air missiles. A few reviewers of the grainy video said the F-16 appeared to have been rigged with an ECIPS Plus electronic warfare system, an N/ALQ-162 radar jammer and N/AR-60 missile warning system, and a DS Plus chaff/flare countermeasures system. Israeli military analyst Yigal Levin wrote of the electronic add-ons. Interestingly, the appearance of electronic warfare systems and containers on Ukrainian Western-style aircraft has long been expected, as they provide another level of protection, in addition to standard countermeasures in the form of ejected chaff and decoy flares. These means are a set of tools that, upon detecting radiation from an enemy aircraft or SAM radar, send back spam of electromagnetic waves in the same range, adjusting to the constantly changing frequency of radiation. In August 2023, the United States gave the green light for F-16s to be transferred to Ukraine, marking a pivotal moment in the support strategy. Denmark and the Netherlands were quick to respond, announcing they would lead an international coalition to train Ukrainian pilots and deliver the jets. Denmark initially planned to supply 6 F-16 jets by the end of 2023, but this timeline was postponed by about 6 months, with the first batch delivered to Ukraine in the spring of 2024. Denmark has committed to donating 19 jets in total, with delivery scheduled through 2025. By the end of July 2024, Ukraine officially received its first batch of F-16 jets, with Lithuania's Foreign Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis confirming the arrival, describing it as, "Another impossible thing turned out to be totally possible." The exact number of jets in this initial delivery was not disclosed, but it was noted that Ukraine received more than a squadron by the end of 2024.
The Trump administration plans to push European allies to buy more American weapons for Ukraine ahead of possible peace talks with Moscow. The move could improve Kiev's negotiating position, according to Reuters. If formalized, the plan would instill some confidence in Ukrainian leaders who are concerned that President Donald Trump could block further aid. European countries have previously purchased US weapons for Ukraine under the Biden administration. According to the sources, US officials, including Trump's special envoy for Ukraine, retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, will discuss possible arms purchases with European allies this week during the Munich Security Conference. They added that this is one of several ideas the administration is discussing to potentially continue to supply American weapons to Kiev without spending significant amounts of American money. In an interview with Reuters, Kellogg declined to confirm the plan, but said the US always likes selling weapons made in America because it strengthens our economy. There are a lot of options out there. Everything is in play right now, Kellogg said, adding that shipments previously approved by former President Joe Biden were still flowing to Ukraine. There's not necessarily any need in the next 24 hours to do it any different, he said. In recent days, US officials have said that the Trump administration wants to recoup the billions Washington has spent on the war in Ukraine and that Europe needs to do more to help. I think an underlying principle here is that the Europeans have to own this conflict going forward. US National Security Advisor Mike Waltz told NBC News on Sunday, "It is unclear whether the US plans to ask European countries to buy US weapons under commercial contract or directly from US stockpiles. Some commercial contracts can last for years. For several weeks now, the Trump administration has been discussing whether and how to continue arming Ukraine. During his presidential campaign, Trump promised to cut off all aid to Ukraine, but some of his advisors behind the scenes have argued that Washington should continue to provide military support to Kyiv, especially if peace talks are postponed until the end of this year. During his time in office, Biden has approved more than $65 billion in security assistance to Ukraine, including billions of dollars in the final months of his administration. However, officials in Kiev, including President Volodymyr Zelenski, have said that Ukraine needs additional security guarantees before entering into talks with Moscow. The Trump White House is likely to face serious resistance from some Republicans if it tries to request additional funding from Congress. Administration officials see the arms deal with Europe as a potential workaround that allows Washington to support Kyiv without spending US taxpayer dollars. Families of Russian Black Sea Fleet crews in Crimea are being forced to return to Russia as the evidence shows that the occupation fleet has effectively withdrawn from the peninsula, says Ukrainian Navy spokesperson Dmytro Pletenchuk, according to Ukrinform. Ukraine has sunk or damaged about 24 Russian ships of all sizes with its advanced naval drones. They have also inflicted serious damage on the Crimean Bridge. As a result, Russia has dispersed most of its Black Sea Fleet away from Sevastopol. This way, Ukraine has been able to resume billion-dollar exports from its main port in Odessa. Despite these setbacks, Russia retains significant strike capabilities from the eastern Black Sea. Many Russian families are returning to Russia because their husbands, occupiers from the Black Sea Fleet, have not been stationed in Crimea for over a year. Russian warships have been based in Novorossiysk for an extended period with no sign of returning. We hope they never do, Pletenchuk stated. He identified a key turning point in Russia's naval retreat, the sinking of the landing ship Caesar Kunikov a year ago after Ukraine's defense forces strikes. This event marked a significant shift, forcing Russia to halt its naval logistics. Caesar Kunikov was the last major landing ship which was destroyed, he explained. In response, Russia resorted to using civilian ferries to transport military cargo, but its logistical capacity has significantly declined. The 3 railway ferries once used for military transport are no longer operational, leaving Russian forces reliant on standard ferries that mix military and civilian transport. After the sinking, Russia effectively abandoned the use of warships for logistics. This was one of the key factors in the decision to withdraw from Crimea, Pletenchuk concluded. In January 2025, Pletenchuk reported that Russian forces completely ceased military vessel repairs in occupied Crimea due to successful Ukrainian strikes throughout 2023 and 2024. As Russia's war against Ukraine enters its 3rd year, Ukraine's growing offensive capabilities have forced the Russian military to work harder to protect its assets, including its battered Black Sea Fleet. While the new US administration proposes peace initiatives, the closure of the Turkish Straits, a consequence of Russian President Vladimir Putin's war, has severed the link between the Mediterranean Squadron and the Black Sea Fleet, leaving Russia's warships isolated and vulnerable to Ukrainian attack.